Hi, this is a clip from my recent Terraria stream where I introduce a character I made for the playthrough and their lore. I'm doing this because they will probably be mentioned a lot just in general going forward. Do be warned though, I stutter and or repeat myself a lot, either because I got distracted by chat or it's just generally my brain moving slower than my vocal cords or whatever. That being said, enjoy! Let me see. Oh, here we go. You guys can hear it, right? Okay, it says it's coming up on OBS, so it probably works. All right, so miitopia, yeah. All right, so let's get into this. So I would like to introduce you all to Flynn. I made Flynn Armada. I made them back, as I said, I made them back in 2022, and they've just been around for like a while, and I only recently redesigned them and stuff. I rewrote them. But anyway. So, I gotta get like my script, little script I made for this. Okay. Okay, so they go by mainly they, them pronouns, but also just any that aren't he, him. They are trans femme, bi-oriented airways. They will be a mage for this playthrough. Rainbow Dash, they can Rainbow Dash. Yeah. They will be a mage for this playthrough. Mainly because mage is just my favorite class, but also I have tried giving it some lore, some like reasons as to why they are that specifically. And in terms of personality, they're pretty stubborn, pretty like hot-headed. They have like trouble controlling their emotions and stuff, and like they're kind of anxiety-ridden. Hence the neurodivergent symbol over here. I wanted to find a symbol for anxiety specifically, but I couldn't find one that I liked. So we're just getting the neurodivergent symbol, just the regular one. This design for them on the they have a few different looks. This is like for the like a prologue type thing. So like specifically this slide. Hi Dame. But these two on the right will be for the actual playthrough. This one will be for this one will be for pre-hard mode, and this one will be for hard mode. So more about Flynn. So we're going to start this little story off when they're like basically barely, well, like about a year out of high school. So like they're probably 18 or going on 19. And as you can see in the top left here, it says they kind of hate their life. There's a few different reasons for this. First one being, the town they live in really sucks. What is this for? Sorry. Oh, it's for introducing my character, my OC that will be like the player character for the playthrough, because I have for a while. A long time. Okay, as I was saying, they kind of hate their life right now. Reason number one being, the town they live in right now really sucks. Like, on good days, it's just boring. Good quote-unquote days. You're tempting me to add lore to your OCs. Now, dude, you can do that if you want. Like, that would be awesome sauce. Okay, so back on track. The town they live in sucks. On good days, quote unquote, it's just boring. And most of the time, I don't know about most of the time, it's either just boring or like genuinely like sucks. Like people there can be kind of antagonistic to each other. Like, really, the only times people like talk to each other and aren't just being assholes is like if they need like stuff to like necessities like shopping and asking for services and stuff. If that makes sense. It's basically like a shitty rural town where everyone is like conservative. They aren't though. They're queer and neurodivergent as fuck. Okay, reason number 2 that they don't like their life. Oh, okay, bye Dame. Anyway, reason 2 they don't like their life is their mom is not a very supportive. Their family life is not great. They only live with their mom, and they don't have any like father figure, siblings, cousins, aunts, uncles, grandparents, all of that. They just live with their mom, and their mom is not really the most supportive person in the world. Whenever they try to talk about any aspirations they might have with her, she just shuts them down or goes, okay, but what makes you think that's gonna actually be possible? Or she just tells them to go do their chores and just brushes it off. So, not a very great person to live with. And third reason, they don't really have anyone else to rely on. Their social life is pretty much not there due to the town's culture of just people either not talking to each other or just being assholes to each other. So yeah, they don't like their life, and they don't feel like there's anything they can really do about it because there's nothing really to do in their town. So they're just having... Oh, Nave, hello. Yes, this is about the OC I'm using for this playthrough. Okay. So, yeah, they pretty much have no social life because of the town's culture of just either not talking to anybody at all or being assholes if they talk to people, if they have to get in a social situation. So, yeah. It's not like they can go to college or anything, because their town doesn't have a college, and they don't really have any way to go to one. So, yeah. They're just kind of hopping between shitty jobs, and when they're on break, they're just getting fucking slammed by existential crises and stuff. However, this all changes when someone new moves in. Allow me to introduce to you another key player in the story, Seth, the stand-in for the guide NPC. I would like to mention that I actually generated the world early so I could get his name, because I want to get the names for the NPCs like as we go on, though I have not actually explored the world at all, so it's not cheating, I promise. But anyway, Seth is very different from a lot of the townsfolk. He's more of a positive person. It's like pretty like chill and like happy like a lot of the time. He's more sociable. Like He's kind of here just for a good time, really, mostly. He also has, like, absurd amounts of knowledge about the world that nobody knows where he got it from. And he also has a pet bunny named Duchess. She will actually be important to the plot, too. I just haven't exactly figured out how yet, but, Also, any comments about any guide open door jokes will be met with extreme disdain. This must be mentioned. Okay. His special interest is everything. Yeah, I mean, he knows everything. So, like... Okay, anyway. So, because of how different a person he is from the rest of the townsfolk, a lot of people think he's kind of weird. And at first, Flynn does too. But eventually, they get in a situation where they kind of have to talk to him, and it turns out, hey, he's actually a pretty cool guy. So they keep trying to talk to him more, and they keep talking, and keep talking, and keep talking, and eventually, they become pretty good friends. And this actually impacts Flynn's life pretty positively. Seth is a pretty outdoorsy type of guy, so like Flynn is getting out of their house more, they're doing more things that aren't just like stuff they feel like obligated to do, like jobs or chores their mom makes them do. What the fuck? Okay. And they're just having a better time because Seth is a good person and Seth is like an actually good, nice person to be around. And, I gotta drink water. Seth is like actually a nice person to be around. And like the stuff he Flynn does with him is like actually enjoyable. And their friendship lasts for a pretty long while. That being said, it's time for a time skip. So, Flynn is now 22 years old, which means we have probably gone like 2 or 3 years later. Flynn is doing pretty good. And they're actually thinking of just straight up leaving this town soon. Because they're like, wow, there's actually so much I can do out there now that I have this guy that spends now that I know this guy that spends all his time outdoors. And they just want to like get out there and actually do something with their life now that, just go on some kind of adventure or something, or like become really cool by not being in this shit-ass town where nothing happens except people being assholes to each other. Meanwhile, with Seth, he's pretty on board with also just starting to travel around the world instead of just staying in the town. But he seems a bit more desperate to, in a way. He's like, he thinks that staying for much longer will start to pose threats to his safety. At least if they haven't already. Flynn, he doesn't really make this obvious, but Flynn does catch on at times and is like, "Hey dude, are you okay?" And he is like, "Oh, you don't need to worry about me, just go focus on your stuff," and stuff like that. So they're concerned, but they take his word for it, and just keep doing their own thing. But then, probably not too long before they're getting ready, they were probably like plan to leave, Seth goes missing. It turns out he didn't return home from a hike that him and Flynn were doing one day, and he just disappeared without a trace. Well, I don't want to say without a trace, but like, he's just gone. Alright, I gotta change the music now, hang on. Okay. Don't blast in my ears, please. Thank you. Oh my gosh. So, the news of Seth's disappearance spreads to the town pretty fast. And most people aren't really like, are either like, thank you, Dorian. Most people are like, don't really care, or think or just are glad that he's gone. Because as I said, a lot of people thought he was pretty strange. Flynn, though, is not most people, of course. And something about his disappearance doesn't really sit right with them. So, they do a little bit of research, and they find out about, like, something about the way Seth went missing can be tied to this whole conspiracy about the moon, some alien invasion from like a long time ago or something, a cult, and a supposedly extinct group of tree people, an abandoned city somewhere, and so much more. So eventually they're like, okay, okay, I think I've seen enough. I'm going to go out there, find out what the deal with this whole conspiracy is, and maybe find the only person and maybe find the whereabouts of the only person I could consider a friend in years. And that is where our journey begins.